It keeps the whole team and yard going during the winter months when we haven't got many runners on the flats, and some of the owners that are involved in the flat horses wanted to get a few jump horses to run through the winter, and yeah, it's exciting. We've got some nice ones to go to war with, so it makes life a bit easier really, going to the nicer tracks, and hopefully we can have a few winners on the way.
And bring on Aintree in April. This looks like it could be a target for a couple of the horses.
Yeah, no, you've got Outlander obviously will be heading there. So Jack Yeats, and this time next year he just got touched off in the conditional amateur hurdle last season. So hopefully, yeah, we'll have sort of a team going there, and maybe a few more to improve along the way that can go there as well.
And do you think you sort of want to be known now as a dual-purpose trainer?
I don't know about dual purpose, but yeah, no, look, we'll have a handful of jumpers, and look, we're not taking our eye off the ball with the flat horses, but you know, we've got a nice team of flat horses to go to war with next year, and things haven't gone right this year for us, but yeah, we won't be classed as a dual trainer. I think we'll just have a few to have a bit of fun with more than anything.
So Richard, we're here with Outlander, who you bought on the week of this year's Grand National and ran a great race in 9th. How did it sort of come about that you bought him?
We sort of obviously saw that he was entered in the sale, and Phil Cunningham and Martin Gowan were keen to try and have a go at purchasing him. We didn't expect to go to the sum of what we paid for him in the end, but we'd had a good day, and yeah, it was one of those. We were lucky to get him, and he ran well. We couldn't take any credit for how he ran because Gordon had done all the work, but he picked up a slight injury in the race. But NEH, the Newmarket, have done a great job sorting that out, and he's come back now. He's been in Cantrin 8 weeks, really happy with him and looking forward to getting him on track.
And people don't normally associate Richard Spencer with National Hunt horses. How exciting is it to have a horse of this calibre in your yard?
Oh, it's great. He's you know, he's settled in well, and he's sort of everyone's yard favourite really. Among the jump horses we've got 9 to go to war with this winter, which is more than normal, but some nice ones. I think quality is definitely better than we've had in the past, and yeah, it's something to keep the yard going over the winter rather than shutting shop all winter with the flat horses, having a break for the next year. But no, we're looking forward to it.
And he's a high class stare, and perhaps you're leading towards going back to Aintree in the spring, but what do you do in the meantime between now and then? Yeah,
Aintree is definitely the main target. You know, he jumped round really well that day. Well, this year James Bowen got on really well with him. We're probably going to aim him at the cross-country race in March. He's going to have a school round there a few times prior to Christmas, getting him used to it. But yeah, the main target will be Aintree, with the cross-country race in March as well as another target.
And the cross-country race, you mentioned the possibility of going to Cheltenham to give him a spin around the cross-country course before then. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, it's something obviously that's very unique that horses wouldn't actually see on a racetrack before, so the more experience they can have over those obstacles, you know, the banks and the rails, and you know, we're going to try and go as many times as we can prior to Cheltenham to get him used to it. But for a horse like him, he's an old horse, and I just think it'll sweeten him up as well as getting him used to it. So yeah, looking forward to getting him there. Handsome Sansom, he was 3rd on his last start last week at Fakenham, which was a big improvement on what he's shown in his previous 2 starts. He was very weak and probably a bit immature the first 2 runs, but he's strengthened up, ran a very solid race at Fakenham, and I'd like to think we'll see him out in December in another bumper somewhere. He's already scored over hurdles and jumps well, and he's very well bred, and hopefully we can have a good campaign over the winter with him. Hopefully, all being well, he'll run in a bumper in the new year. He's a very nice horse that we purchased at Goff's store sale back in the summer. He's from the family of Riverside Theatre. He's by Yeats, and he's very athletic, and I'd like to think hopefully we can start him off sort of February time, all being well in a bumper. He's a big horse, and we'll probably start him off in a bumper in the new year. He's from a very good family, and the dam was listed placed in a bumper, so we'll start off there. He's already jumped, got him off the ground last week, and he'll probably be one that will be better over hurdles in time, but he's a nice horse, good moving horse, and hopefully we can have a bit of fun with him this year. So Cigarettes and Alcohol, he was purchased at Goff store sales back in the summer by Ocovango. He's a nice horse. He's already jumped some poles and got off the ground, but we'll probably start him off in a bumper in the new year. But his future will lie over fences, I would think, and hurdles. So whatever he does in a bumper will be, we'll see him to better light and effect over jumps. So Twisted Firestarter, he was purchased another one at Goff's. He's the more forward of all our 3-year-olds. I'd like to think he'll be out in January. He's already done a little bit of work and goes nicely, so all being well, he'll be the first bumper runner of the 3-year-olds turning 4. He's jumped and schooled and he's doing everything nicely, so we're happy with him.
So Sir Jack Yeats, this is his 3rd season with you. You've had some success with him. He's won 3 times for you, including at Fakenham last season, and was 6th at Aintree. What are the hopes for him this year?
He'll probably go back to Aintree in April for the Fox Hunters, but he's well handicapped, I think, as well, so there could be an option for him to run in a handicap chase. But yeah, all roads will eventually lead to Aintree, all being well, and hopefully getting there fresh as we can. And he's already qualified for the race, so we haven't got a run really before, but he will have a couple of options to get him out on track before then. But yeah, the main target will be Aintree.
And he's a great jumper, so is the plan just to keep him ticking over?
Yeah, he jumps, he takes to Aintree, he's taken to it well. I think he hasn't really had his ground there yet, and yeah, the better the ground, he doesn't want it too soft, but I think if he could get good ground come Aintree, he'll have a real live chance. He's jumped around there twice and hopefully can go a few better.
And his mark's lower already than it was in Aintree in the spring. You're going to try and sort of protect that a bit?
Yeah, I think he's one that's qualified for the race already. He may get on the lorry and go down to Cheltenham with Outlander and have a school round the cross-country course. I just think he's a very good jumper, and he's probably a little bit cute for his own good, but I think maybe something like that, the cross-country race, could potentially play into his strengths at some point, whether it's this year or whether it's next year.
And he's 8, turning 9 in the new year. Do you think we've seen the best of him yet?
No, I don't think so. I think he's one of those horses. I think he is a little bit cute, and it's just trying to do a few different things with him, and I think we're managing to do that, keeping him happy and sweetening him up. But yeah, fingers crossed we can see a bit more of improvement out of him this year.
Richard, we're here with It's a Freebie, who was once 3rd in what was the Neptune, now the Ballymore Hurdle. He's been well tried over jumps and flats since. He's had a bit of a break now. How has he been since his last run in January? Yeah,
he picked up a small injury when he last ran, but we've given him the time to come over that. He's been back cantering now 10 weeks. He'll probably make his start just before Christmas, I would imagine, over hurdles. And I think he's a well-handicapped horse that has got the scope and room for a bit of manoeuvre over jumps. So.
And what would you say is his optimal distance, ground, hurdles or fences?
I think the options there for both hurdles and going chasing with him. But he was versatile on the flat when we had him. He hadn't won for a while when we got sent him, and he did well on the flat on various trips and ground. So I think we'll just see how he comes to hand. But he'll probably start off over 2.5, and just see where we go from there. But hopefully there's a few races to be won with him during the winter.